Groove metal is a style of metal, often considered an offshoot of thrash metal. But instead of fast riffs, it's usually played at mid-tempo. Instead of rapid-fire guitar, it focuses on the grooves, usually full of syncopation and pinch harmonics. The vocals are also typically more abrasive than thrash metal. And overall, it could be said that the style takes more influence from death metal and hardcore. Groove metal was most prominent in the 90s and early 2000s. Number 10, The Last Kind Words by DevilDriver. In the early 2000s, many groove metal bands often had influence from melodic metal genres. In particular, what is often referred to as the new wave of American heavy metal is often a combination of groove metal and melodic metalcore, although it can also just be referring to straight-up melodic metalcore or straight-up groove metal bands as well. However, one such band that does this fusion is DevilDriver, who have a sound halfway between Pantera and Killswitch Engage. Even the album art reminds me of Killswitch Engage. However, it would be disingenuous to call this strictly a metalcore release, as there is plenty of groove metal on this. Great piece of American metal. Number 9, I Hear Black by Overkill. Overkill is known for their thrash metal material, and because of that, I think this one is often overlooked. A departure from thrash, I Hear Black is a groove metal album with some influence from doom metal and classic heavy metal. It has a sound halfway between Cowboys from Hell era Pantera and Aussie era Black Sabbath, which is a cool blend. The Sabbath Terra sound is best demonstrated on Spiritual Void. World of Hurt is a banger as well. And there's even a good ballad track with Shades of Grey. Overkill's overlooked gem. Number 8, Sacrament by Lamb of God. Another one of these American metal albums that fuses groove metal and melodic metalcore, Sacrament is quite possibly the most well-known of this variation. It has some of the best classic Lamb of God tracks, such as Redneck, "This is a motherfucking invitation, the only one you could ever need," and Walk With Me in Hell. Walk with me. I'll admit, I've never been the hugest Lamb of God fan, but Sacrament stands out among the rest. Plenty of grooves, breakdowns, and melodies. Plus, the vocal style of Randy Blythe is really fun. So close your eyes once more and once more, believe that they all still believe in you. Some may say it should be higher on the list, but 8 is still a respectable position. Number 7, One Kill Wonder by The Haunted. This has a great blend of groove metal and melodic death metal, dark and pummeling record, as catchy as Sacrament, but with the intensity of a Swedish death metal album. It also contains this eerie, gritty, and bleak theme of lowlives and serial killers. A great Gothenburg epic, with plenty of chunky moments. I think it speaks for itself. With how popular Lamb of God is, it's a shame that One Kill Wonder often goes under people's radar. Number 6, Hyena by Cripper. Hyena has a somewhat similar sound to The Haunted, but perhaps leaning less on the death metal side and more on the groove metal side. It's even a bit thrashy at times. This is likely the least well-known on the list, as well as the most recent release. From 2014, it's pretty late for groove metal, as the style was mostly prevalent in the 90s and early 2000s, but it shouldn't be overlooked by any fan of the genre. It also might be the only female-fronted groove metal band that I'm aware of. From fun tracks like Dime for the Establishment, to the gut punch of 7 inches,
7 inches away from reality, eyes covered, shielded from misery,
to the lengthy finale, Pure. This is some seriously underrated groove metal. Enough said.
reality's here, reality's now.
Number 5, Dead Heart in a Dead World by Nevermore. Nevermore might not typically be thought of as a groove metal band, as they tend to just get labeled prog metal, which they indeed are, and I'd even argue that they have strong, epic doom metal influence in addition to that, but the groove is nevertheless undeniable in their music. I cannot exclude Nevermore from this list. However, I'll refrain from placing them any higher than 5th, since groove metal is a little more diluted in their sound. That said, the riffs on Inside Four Walls are insane. And there's some juicy grooves on The River Dragon Has Come as well. However, this album is pretty ballad heavy. It's less like Cowboys from Hell and more like an entire record of Cemetery Gates, if that makes sense.
Is this some conspiracy? Chasing the actor without tears.
So on the softer side of metal, but still a groove metal masterpiece. I have an entire video on Nevermore if you'd like to know more.
The pigs still preach their lies.
Number 4, Burn My Eyes by Machine Head.
Let freedom ring with the shotgun blast.
Easily the most straightforward groove metal album on the list. While the later efforts of Machine Head ventured into many other styles, this one might be the most vanilla groove metal record ever. That's not to say that it's boring though. Davidian crushes. And None But My Own is a candidate for best groove metal song ever made. Burn My Eyes is to the point, and that is what makes it great. Number 3, Chaos AD by Sepultura.
Chaos AD takes over the streets.
This is arguably Sepultura's only groove metal album, but they for sure nailed it. The riffage and aggression is unparalleled. Some biting critique, too. From Refuse Resist to Slave New World,
We're not slaves, we're free.
to Propaganda. Killer record all around. I'd also argue it gets into crust punk territory. Crust punk territory! Sorry, dumb joke. But I do think it's a bit crustier than most groove metal, which does make Chaos AD distinct. Number 2, Cleansing by Prong. This is a fun one, a must for any fan of groove metal. While it does bleed into funk metal a little bit, it's mostly a straight-up groove metal record. Their one-hit wonder, Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck, is a classic and legendary track.
You snap your fingers. You snap your neck.
But the rest of the record is great too, from the lively opening notes of Another Worldly Device to the mellow and hypnotic Not of This Earth. It has the crunch and kick we love about the style, but with some added melody to keep it memorable. Number 1, The Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera. No surprise, Pantera is number 1, but my choice of record may be surprising to some. Vulgar Display of Power is the most popular record, and Far Beyond Driven would be a much better choice for a strictly vanilla groove metal sound, as Southern Trendkill also has some influence from sludge metal and even southern metal in certain sections. Maybe you aren't surprised at all that I picked this, since this album is literally the one I use for my image of groove metal, but that is mostly because it's the most aesthetic looking Pantera album. Pantera's other album covers are pretty ugly, if I'm completely honest. In addition to looking good though, this also sounds good, and might be the angriest metal record ever. From the focused rage of War Nerve to the livid Suicide Note Part 2, to the closing track Sandblasted Skin. This is one pissed off experience. I had to limit myself to one pick per band, because otherwise I'd have to include Far Beyond Driven as well, and I wanted more variety on this list. But only picking one by Pantera, I gotta go with their heaviest soundtrack. The Great Southern Trendkill is sort of the black sheep of their releases. I think of it as Pantera's And Justice for All, as it tends to either be the fan favorite or least favorite, but for me, it's for sure their best. Speaking of polarizing, the lyrics are also politically incorrect as possible, but not in a way that it's trying to be edgy, but more in a profanity-laced stream of consciousness. Stuff that you would shout if you stubbed your toe really hard after a terrible day. It's just unfiltered anger in the best way possible. Let me know what else you'd like me to cover. Our acculturation continues.